Hello students. So as you know that we are discussing the chapter globalization. So in this chapter we have already covered the concept of globalization, causes of globalization, consequences of globalization, and we have completed economic consequences, political consequences, and cultural consequences. So, next in the topic, we are going to understand India and globalization. Basically, in this topic, we are going to understand some of the periods in India where globalization existed. You know that globalization is not a new concept, it existed in history as well. Alright, globalization is not a modern concept, it was there earlier. But what is the difference? Difference is of the speed, difference is of the pace. Earlier, the communication facilities were not there as it is there now. Alright, the technological advancement was not there as we have today. So, because of this advancement, this new things coming up, we can see the pace changing. Alright, so globalization pertaining to the flows of people, ideas, commodities, money, goods. It was there. Earlier we had a concept of import export. Alright, but it was a very sluggish uh, import export. Now the pace has been fastened. Alright, so firstly, you have to understand what happened in India in the name of globalization in the colonial period. Now, what is this colonial period? When colony? Because India was a colony of Britishers. So, India being a colony and Britishers staying in India, what happened? How the globalization happened in India? That time, what used to happen? The Britishers used to take our raw materials. As you know that India was a sone ki chidiya, so entire property, entire wealth of India was drained by the Britishers. It is them who has actually taken all our property and made us poor. Alright, so the resources that was taken by the Britisher as a raw materials, and what they did, they used to take the raw materials at very low cost, and they used to refine the raw materials and they used to sell as the finished product at a very high prices. So this was the thing that was going on with us. Alright, so let's just discuss the next period that was after independence in the year 1947. By this time, we had realized the value of freedom. By this time, we had, tasted freedom, and we were the one who were making policies for us. So this time, we have decided that with the mistakes that we have done on the past, now we cannot rely on others, and whatever resources we are having, we are going to make a good use of our resources, and we will not let anyone to control our resources. You must have heard about Atmanirbharta, or self-reliant, that we will grow everything within the country itself. We will not export the raw materials. We will limit on our imports. All right. So this was the policy of protectionism that we had followed, that we wanted to protect our raw materials as well as the industrial sectors. All right. But as a result of this, India had a very sluggish rate of economic growth or development. Yes, obviously, because none of the country in the world can be self-reliant, because we lack certain resources. We have that, what do you say, lack of certain things that we have to be dependent. So India too had this kind of problem, because none of the none of the companies were investing on us, so we had to do whatever uh, alone. that is why India had a very sluggish growth of economy was going down. And then, because of this economic problems, what happened in 1991? Reforms. We had accepted certain reforms, especially the LPG reforms. So globalization, liberalization, privatization, these were the reforms that was, accepted or introduced in India because of the financial crisis. And we had a desire that we'll have a higher rate of economic development. So India, they have embarked on economic reforms in the year 1991 in order to deregulate our various sectors, and we wanted foreign investment in our country. We wanted that some foreign rich countries or the rich companies should invest on us. All right, and it will be too early to say how good this has been for India. All right, we cannot say how good it is or how bad it is. We have to test, we have to go a long time, and then we can make sure that we have high growth rate or we have less growth rate. All right. Okay, so the next topic is resistance to globalization. See, globalization, we have already covered some of the positive points, some of the negative points. That in positive points, we have done that globalization gives us choices. Because of globalization, we have choices in front of us. Yes, because globalization meaning intermingling with the other countries. So automatically we have food choices, we have clothes choices, we have certain ideas choices. All these are choices that is being given by globalization. So globalization has also impacted our economy, the growth of economy. We cannot say that globalization is all negative, but all right, there are certain points to remember that why globalization has been resisted. Okay, why? Now the critiques of globalization, they make, a variety of arguments. There are some left the people on the left side, they argue because see there is an ideology. Okay, the people on left, they focus on what? They focus on equality. They focus that everyone should be equal. There should not be any class division. They are against, the people on the left, they are against class division. And people, those who are on the right, they want, they just want the traditional notions, all right, the traditional notions should remain. The, the, the things, the culture should remain. They're just worried about the culture. And the people on the left, they accept change, but it should not hamper what? The society. It should not hamper uh, the equality. They just focus on equality. Now those are on the left, they argue that globalization or the capitalism that makes rich richer, rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer day by day. Okay, because of these MNCs, the companies, the food seller or the vegetable seller, they are not getting as customers as the retailers or the MNCs. Okay, because of them, the rich, they are getting richer and poor poorer. And also they have focused on the state's capacity. As I've already mentioned, how the state capacity has been minimalized. Earlier they worked for the welfare. Now they are not working for the welfare. They just want money. Okay, whatever the money that was invested on the welfare is now being invested on the growth of the industries. Now, the critiques of globalization from the political right, they express anxiety over the political economy. They are focusing on political, economically, and culturally. In politically, they fear that states are weakening, okay, and economically, they wanted self-reliance. Traditional, yeah, earlier what we used to do, we were self-reliant, we want protectionism, we don't want others to control it. And culturally, they are worried that the tradition will be harmed, culture will be harmed. Okay, and it's also too important to note that anti-globalization movements are also taking place in the globe. Okay, there are certain movements that are being taking place. Now they are not you know, opposing the entire globalization. No, they're only focusing on certain programs of globalization, and they're protesting against that. Like, for example, in 1999, there was a meeting, WTO, World Trade Organization. This is a international organization that looks after the trade related issues of the countries. Okay, these organization also gives you loans for different, if you want to trade, if you want to do some development, these organization provides you loan. So what happened in this one of the meetings of WTO, what happened in Seattle, that is in USA, that people protested against the policies, that they protested that because of this globalization, the imperialism has been started, meaning it is a kind of colonization, meaning certain countries that is controlling the entire globe. So people are just against that. All right. And there is also a forum, that World Social Forum. This is a global platform which brings, a coalition of human rights activists, environmentalists, labor, women activities. Now these all activists, they are, focusing what on the word neoliberal globalization. Now this is a kind of imperialism where a group of countries is dominating the entire globe. And where did the first meeting of this WSF took place? It happened in Brazil 2001. Fourth meeting in Mumbai. India also had, organized this meeting in 2004, Mumbai. And recently, if we talk about 2016, in Canada, August 2016. All right. So this is it about resistance to globalization. Only one topic is remaining, that is India and resistance to globalization. This I'll cover in the next video, and then I'll discuss the question and answers with you people. Thank you so much.